We meet again. Whether you're wandering down the wrong road or getting lost on the beach, I'm glad you joined me for Coffee with Dubs. Come on in.
You know, I think one of the most underrated life skills a person can develop is learning how to recover emotionally when the day doesn't go the way you pictured it. Because today started with a plan. It's my second day off. I got up early. I took Finn for a walk because apparently that dog would march directly into the surface of the sun if he thought there was an adventure waiting on the other side for him. Meanwhile, Coda looked outside, felt the humidity, and basically said, absolutely not. And honestly, I was like, fair enough, because it's hot in New Jersey today. Like heavy air, shirt sticking to you, it feels like 90, that kind of heat. We tried heading down to the trestle thinking we'd get a decent walk in, but that kind of fell apart halfway through, and suddenly the morning wasn't really matching the version of what I had planned in my head anymore. So now we're down at the bay. Weirdly enough, that's where today's thoughts started forming for me, because life does that constantly. You picture the day one way, reality edits it, hands it back to you another way. Then you're left standing there emotionally deciding whether your entire day is ruined or whether you're willing to adapt and salvage what's still possible. That's the huge difference emotionally. Because I think a lot of people accidentally let one frustrating moment poison everything around it. One inconvenience, one mistake, one disrupted plan, one bad interaction, one disappointment, and then suddenly the brain starts acting like the entire day is beyond saving. Because while working on the mural last night, I had a moment that honestly almost made my stomach drop. I was putting ink lines down into the schoolhouse museum section and the marker slipped. Just straight through a window line. One of those moments where your brain instantly goes, well, that sucks. And for about 5 seconds, it felt like disaster. Then something interesting happened. I stopped panicking long enough to look at it differently. And instead of trying to erase something I could not, I started building around it, adding detail, adjusting structure, letting the accident become part of the texture instead of treating it like the end of the piece. And magically, that section actually ended up looking badass and alive afterward. And that hit harder than I expected, because I think life works like that sometimes too. Not every mistake gets erased. Not every interruption disappears. Not every imperfect moment gets undone cleanly. Sometimes growth is learning how to incorporate the flaw into the design instead of emotionally collapsing just because perfection got corrupted. That's difficult for people though, especially people who overthink, especially people who put pressure on themselves, and especially people who constantly feel like they're one wrong move away from ruining progress. But life is real messy. People stumble, plans shift, days derail, emotions fluctuate, and hey, markers slip. That's normal. Maybe maturity is not becoming flawless. Maturity maybe has to become being adaptable. Because adaptable people recover fast emotionally. They stop treating temporary distractions like permanent failures, and they start learning how to pivot instead of panic. They understand that a rough moment does not automatically erase an entire meaningful day. And that's something I'm still learning too. Because even today, after the walk got cut short, the heat drained half of my soul, there was still a moment where I had to constantly decide, okay, how do I recapture the rest of this day instead of mourning that version that didn't get to happen? And that's why coming to the bay changed the mindset and matters so much, because there's still errands to run, still work to do on the mural, still life happening, still opportunities for good moments to appear later. And honestly, I think people lose too many good days because they become emotionally attached to the first draft of how they thought things were supposed to go. But life improvises constantly, sometimes beautifully, sometimes inconveniently, usually both. But maybe today's reminder is this: a mistake doesn't automatically ruin the picture. A disrupted plan doesn't automatically ruin the day. And one rough moment doesn't automatically erase your momentum. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is stop demanding perfection from the experience and start asking, how do I build from here instead? Because surprisingly often, that's where the real depth starts showing up. And we'll be adding more depth tomorrow on Coffee with Dubs. I'll see you then. Bring somebody.